So first of all, let's have a little look at using pattern brushes. I make a lot of jewellery like this. Small silver pebble shapes made by hand. But sometimes if I want to experiment with a new idea or a new application for them, creating a pattern brush is really useful where we are using a repetitive shape several times for different applications. So I'm going to start by just drawing some pebble forms. I'm going to start just using my ellipse tool like so, and then down on the left hand side underneath the width tool we've got a warp tool. So this is quite useful for just pulling out and making some organic natural forms. You can adjust the brush size over here, so if I go up to 60 point, that equates to 21 millimeters. So it's sometimes useful to use a slightly bigger one. I might take this form. I'm just going to create a few of them. And once you've got your forms to begin with, now these can be any shape as you will see later in the video. But once I've got those, I'm just going to use my smooth tool to go around the outside and just to take off any little bumps that we don't like. So you can see on this one, you can see where those anchor points are, we've got some little ridges. Next, I'm just going to arrange them in a line. I'm going to put them all lengthways. Move this one down with a little spacing in between. Now I want to create a necklace, so I'm just going to give it the slight impression that these are joined together. I'm going to create some sort of jump ring looking lines between them. So I might just draw a straight line like so. I can see my alignment's out a little bit, so I'll move that across. Draw another line here to indicate jump ring, and then I'm going to join another one on the bottom like so. And you'll see why I've done that shortly, because that will help link them all together when we've created a pattern from it. I might just increase the thickness of these slightly. So I might just go might select over here, just change the brush so they're a bit thicker and they've got those round ends. And I might just put my point size down to maybe 0.5. I'm now going to scale them. And this would be another really useful application. I could actually draw these to scale, to the size that they are, and draw out the necklace loop to the scale of the length that I want it to be as well. But I won't do that for this video. Next, I'm just going to draw a sort of necklace shape. Right, to create the pattern, I'm going to select all of my objects. So it's really important to make sure they're selected. Then over on the right hand side, if you go to brushes, I'm going to create a new brush. If you can't see the brushes, go to window at the top of your screen and make sure you've got brushes selected. Once you've done that, it should come up in your panel over here. And we're going to click on this, create new brush. And I'm just going to go to pattern brush and click OK. What this will do is it'll give you a little preview of what it will look like. Now this isn't correct. I want all of these like a chain to link together. So they're coming up sideways on. So that's just telling me that I need to rotate these shapes round a little bit, like so. So I'm going to create a new pattern brush again. And you can see here they all link together really nicely in a long line. So once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to click OK. And then if I select this loop, I can scroll down here and you can see I've got that pattern creation there. So I've got this impression of a necklace. Now I'm not too happy that not all of it's quite perfect, but it's not bad, sort of first attempt. Other things we can do with it now. I might think about my fill color, and I could even put in a kind of silver gradient. So what I'm going to need to do that is just go to Object at the top of my screen and expand appearance. So now you can see we've got the object selected. So if I might select gradient tool now, and I've added in a little gradient so they feel like silver objects. If I wanted to be really pedantic, I could adjust the type of gradient. So I've got this central one here, so it looks a lot more like these are rounded objects. And I could even experiment with wondering what they'd look like if they're gold. So I've drawn this lobster claw already. I'm just going to pipette and take that gold color. So I've just selected the white, used the pipette and selected the gold color. Now it's given me an impression of what it might look like if they were gold. You can play around with all of these sliders as well to get the tones that you want. I'm now just going to go to Object and Ungroup. And I'll need to do this twice. It'll ungroup it into a section of 3. So I'm just going to do that again. And I'm just going to take this one out from the top. As I said, I've drawn this little lobster claw earlier. So I might just bring him across. Place him in, something like that. Now we've got quite a nice visualization of what it might look like as a necklace form. We can create pattern brushes using any shape or form that we create in Illustrator. Here I've got a much more intricate form, which I've drawn out, which I've added this kind of circular element and this, again, this idea of a jump ring, just while we're experimenting with sort of jewelry forms. Again, if I select this, go to create new pattern brush, okay, we can see how it's going to preview. Now I'm quite happy with that. One thing you might want to consider is if you're doing patterns around sharp corners, here I'm just doing it as a circular form so you won't notice it, but if you do have corners, you do get to choose how you want it to appear, whether you want things to be stretched or to overlap, and it will give you a little preview there. I can just turn it off as mine's going around something circular. One thing I do want to adjust though is each of these forms are touching one another and I want them to appear like they're individual pendants. So I might just increase the spacing by 20%, for example. 20% is 20% of the total width of your shape. So if I put it to 100, it would give you the exact space for another one of these objects in between. As I said, just 20% will be fine for this. I'm going to select my path and apply them like so. One thing I have noticed here is that they are the wrong way around. I want them to feel like they're hanging off a chain and they're hanging into it at the moment. So I'm just going to undo that, and that's just remind me that I've actually got this form upside down. So I'm just going to create new again, pattern brush, can turn off the corners and put my spacing to 20%. Select this, should be the latest one I've done. What I'm going to do now is just go to Object and Expand Appearance, and I might delete some of those, but I'm going to keep them there as a little reminder of where my path was to begin with. So I'm going to place this in here like so. As I said, I don't like these forms going all the way around the outside, so I might just ungroup them, Shift Command and G, and I can just go around one by one, deleting them. I might keep that one there. What I might decide to do is make this one, the bottom, a bit larger, so I've got kind of two sort of hanging pendants either side. I'm quite happy with that. The one bit I don't like is this just straight line around here, and I want it to appear like it's on a chain. So here I've just created just a circle and a dash. I'm going to select those, create a new pattern brush from those, click OK, and then if I select this path and go there, I've created a chain really nice and easily. And so I might just want to adjust the placement of these slightly so they feel like they're coming off the chain. And there you go. I'm quite happy with that. It's quite a nice little visual of what I was hoping for. Voila. Pattern brushes aren't just useful for when you're trying to create jewelry designs. They can be used in any element of design where we see a lot of repetition. Here I've got a little vector of a dress, but equally this might be a drawing of a dress that we've brought into Illustrator as an image, and we can apply graphical things on top of them. So here with the back of this dress, I want to give it the impression that it's laced up. So I've just drawn, just up here, just a couple of circles, and then I've put a line in between, and I've just adjusted my line so it tapers off at both ends like so. I might make my line color black. And now if I go to create a new pattern brush again, I'll get a preview of what it looks like. As you can see, they're all really rammed together and a bit too close. So I might put my spacing now at possibly 200%. And then just going to draw a line, any path, down the back of this garment, like so. With that, I can just click on there and it's applied some nice detailing to my dress, which would have taken quite a long time to draw them out individually or to draw them out and try and space them out evenly like so. So that's another quite useful application that you might think about. Another really powerful tool that we have in Illustrator is called the blend tool. And when we combine that with the pattern brush tool, we can create some incredible things. So just to demonstrate to begin with, I'm just going to take a line and I'm going to draw a smaller line down here like so. Over here in our tools, we've got the blend tool. If we double click on that button and it'll automatically come up with smooth color, but if you go to specified steps and let's select 10, why not, as it's there already. If you click on these two lines, it will create lines in between them. What's really powerful about this is you can still go in and change them and adjust them after you've done it. So you can even add in anchor points. So if I put one in here, I can go in and just adjust some of these angles. So I can create some quite cool shapes. And you can see instantly how we could be making something quite three-dimensional or architectural, for example. So it's a really powerful tool. You can use it with curved lines. The one tip is when you're using it is to click on the same point on both lines. So when you've got the blend tool selected, make sure you click on the same point. If you click in the middle and on the end, you sometimes get some weird results. So I'll just delete that. As you can see over here on the dress, I've drawn a line along the bottom of this top part and another line along the top. So I'm going to try and create a blend between these two paths. I'm going to select them both, double click, make sure it's on specified steps, and this time let's go 12, why not? And I'm going to click the bottom part of this line and the top, like so. And it's created this stripy pattern there. You can see how that line is evolving from this into there. It's not perfect, and actually, I think we've got a bit of an undercut there, and I should have spent more time neatening up those two lines. But hopefully when we turn it into a pattern, it will not be so obvious. I've just drawn a tiny little dot here. So I'm just going to create a new pattern with him. Go to pattern brush, click OK. And I can see all of the dots are just jammed together. So I might just put my spacing into 100 and click OK. Now if I select these paths and go to my pattern brush, you can see I've applied a pattern to it. What's quite nice about this is it helps give the garment more three-dimensionality to it by these dot pattern contouring the shape. Obviously you don't have to be dots, they can be any shape or pattern you want. But it's quite a nice way of adding in lots of intricate detail into something just in a few clicks of a button. Creating brushes and blending is also really applicable in architecture. So here you can see I've gone to the effort of drawing a nice window form, and I've even made it slightly three-dimensional. As I said before, we can make a pattern brush out of anything. So I might just select my whole design, create a pattern brush. Again, set my spacing maybe to 50%. Maybe a little bit more. And then if I zoom out, you can see I've drawn this very boring side profile of a building. Here I've got two exact lines. I'm going to go to my blend tool, specified steps, and let's imagine this about an 8-story building. So I want to put in 6 steps in between. Click there and there. That looks about right. If you're not happy, you can just undo it and change it. And now I can just select those windows. And I've applied those windows to my design really quickly and effectively. So it probably needs to be a little bit longer, or equally I could do it like that. Take my object, expand appearance, ungroup them. You know, I could even take out a couple from the center to act as somewhere for a doorway. But again, it can save you a huge amount of time. If you go to the effort of just a few clicks of creating a brush, instead of trying to arrange something like this, it would take forever. But it can be a really powerful tool. So be inventive and creative with how you create pattern brushes. Try combining it with the blend tool, as that will give you a huge, powerful set of tools when designing. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Good luck.